What do you want me to do for you? I want to see. Let me tell you, vision loss scares me. Not that I'm looking forward to the loss of any of my senses, but vision seems to dominate. Perhaps because our eyes send twice as many messages as all our other senses combined. I find it curious that the four evangelists each chose to use physical sight as a metaphor for understanding Jesus's healing mission and message. Curious too how blind we can be at failing to comprehend and kind of missing the impact of the message. This morning, with credit to John Lennon, I'd invite you to hold the word imagine in your hearts, because Lennon's vision of the world living as one remains unrealized. Imagination allows us to add perspective, clarity, and depth to our vision. In our house, one of the tangible benefits of the pandemic is that our daughter Annie gifted us with a fire stick and had the patience to teach Stan and I, her aging parents, how to use it, introducing us and opening up the world of streaming video to us. Recently, I watched the movie My Name is Pauli Murray on Amazon Prime. So here's a quick 2-question poll. Raise your hand if you've seen the movie My Name is Pauli Murray. And now, raise your hand if you recognize the name Pauli Murray. All right, so we'll have a little education session here too, as part of this. I would recommend this movie. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you should be able to easily have access to it. I really think of Pauli as the poster child for visioning. Perhaps this is the first that you're hearing of the Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray, pioneer, prophet, and priest. Perhaps you associate the name with the first African-American woman to be ordained in the Episcopal Church in 1977. Or perhaps you've been inspired by the prolific writer, poet, attorney, educator, feminist, and human rights advocate. Pauli, originally Anna Pauline, before she changed her name, lived before identifying by gender-neutral pronouns was accepted practice. And since her Aunt Pauline, whom she lived with, referred to Pauli as a little boy girl, I'll take the liberty of referencing Pauli as she/they. So, anyone wondering how Pauli Murray connects to our gospel? Here it is. In the beginning of the movie, I was stunned when I noticed the same phrase that Bartimaeus spoke, "I want to see," in an on-screen quote of Pauli Murray's. Here's the whole quote, which I think aptly captures Pauli Murray's call. I want to see America be what she says she is. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. America, be what you proclaim yourself to be. The gospel we just heard highlights how after his persistent pleas for mercy were heard, being healed and able to see dramatically changed Bartimaeus' life. Pauli Murray's life was dedicated to confronting discrimination based on race and gender. She did this with a persistence and an energy that rivaled the Energizer Bunny. Imagine for a moment the future that Pauli saw that fueled such commitment. Now, she was born in 1910 and died in 1985. Many of us lived through part of that period of time. Imagine the institutional barriers. They were securely cemented, right? Blacks were inferior to whites. Women were inferior to men. She faced resistance, rejection, loss, depression, clearly ahead of their time. For context, let me frame Pauli's educational background. Right? This individual graduated from Hunter College in New York in 1933, one of 4 Black students in a class of hundreds. After being denied admission to the University of North Carolina for graduate school, Pauli wrote to President Franklin and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. She actually received a response from Eleanor. And she realized that skills were needed to fight segregation. So Pauli chose to study law at Howard University, finishing first in her class. After being denied a graduate fellowship at Harvard, which typically was awarded to the top graduate at Howard, in Pauli's case, it was denied based on gender. She studied law at the University of California at Berkeley and awarded her master's there. She then became the first American awarded a doctorate in law from Yale. That, my friends, demonstrates a pattern of persistence in the face of rejection. We interrupt this homily to honor the memory of another African-American woman, Rosa Parks, who died on this day, October 24th, in 2005. Everyone recognizes the name Rosa Parks, don't they? Yeah. We remember Rosa as the woman who refused to surrender her seat on a bus to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, the year I was born. So maybe I don't remember following it in 1955. But anyway, it was an event that sparked the Montgomery bus boycott and really spurred nationwide efforts to end racial segregation. Right, that was 1955. So in 1940, 15 years prior, right? 15 years prior, Pauli Murray and a friend were traveling from New York to Durham, North Carolina at Easter and were arrested and jailed in Virginia for refusing to move to the back of the bus. There's such richness in the stories that this movie offers that I'd suggest, if you can, to watch it. I'm grateful for the vision and the energy of this educator, feminist, attorney, poet, writer, prophet, and priest, on whose shoulders we all stand. In Pauli, we see how clarity of imagination, vision, and voice add depth and perspective to our journey. And I want to conclude today by giving each of you a chance to reflect on the question that Jesus asked Bartimaeus, because Jesus asks it of all of us. What do you want me to do for you? And today we will begin our homily sharing after 1 minute of quiet time. Our Zoom moderator, Diane, will be our timer. I encourage you to use your imagination Clarify your vision and ask for what you want. Jesus asks you, what do you want me to do for you? God bless you all.